They told me I was too jealous to attend my sister's engagement party. So I told them they'd never be invited to my wedding. 3 weeks later, my mom called me crying when the invitations arrived without their names. Hi Reddit. My name is Luke. I am 28, and I am still trying to make sense of what happened to me just a few weeks ago. I am writing here because I do not know where else to turn, and I feel like I need to share my story with people who do not share my last name or my family's habits. Sometimes strangers can see the truth more clearly than those who have known you since childhood. I have only one sibling, my younger sister Emily, who is 25. From the very beginning, she was the golden child of the family. She was the one who got all the attention, all the protection, and all the excuses. If she did something wrong, everyone rushed to defend her. If I did something wrong, even something small, everyone rushed to criticize me. I grew up in a house where it was normal for Emily to be praised and for me to be blamed. Even with all of that, I still tried to be a decent older brother. I attended her birthdays, I sat quietly at family dinners, I clapped at her graduations, and I even listened patiently when she complained about things that were her own fault. I bit my tongue more times than I can count, because I thought that was what a brother was supposed to do. Then 3 weeks ago, everything changed. Emily had her engagement party, a big family celebration that I expected to be invited to just like everyone else. But I found out the day after the party happened. Not from my parents, not from my sister, but from my Aunt Melissa, who texted me and said, "Sorry we missed you last night. Are you okay?" At first I thought she made a mistake, so I texted my mom and asked what she meant. That was when my mother calmly replied, "We didn't invite you, Luke. It just didn't feel right. You've always been the jealous one, and we didn't want any tension." It was Emily's day. I could not believe what I was reading. I called my mom immediately because I thought maybe there was some misunderstanding. But when she answered the phone, her voice was calm, almost cold, as she repeated the same words again. She told me that they had all agreed it was better for me not to come. She said it as if it was the most normal decision in the world, as if excluding your only son from a major family event was nothing serious at all. For a few seconds, I could not even speak. My mind went completely blank, my chest felt tight, and it was like the air had been knocked out of me. Then, without thinking too much, the words just came out of my mouth. "Well, then you won't mind missing my wedding too." I said it quickly, almost like a reflex, but as soon as I hung up, I realized I meant every word. What made this even more important was that I am actually engaged. My fiancée, Tara, who is 27, was just as shocked as I was when I told her. She has always tried to be kind to my family, even when they barely accepted her. She looked at me and said, "If they cannot respect you, they do not deserve a place at our wedding." And in that moment, we decided together that we would only invite people who had shown us love, respect, and support. Everyone else would be left out no matter who they were. 3 weeks passed, and life went on. We focused on planning our wedding, sending invitations, and building a guest list that truly reflected the people who were part of our lives for the right reasons. Then my Aunt Melissa, who has always been the only family member to truly support me, sent me a message. She had just received her invitation in the mail, and she sent me a photo with a sweet note saying she could not wait to celebrate with us. That made me smile, but it also sparked the next part of this drama. Because my mom found out about the invitation. She did not hear it from me. She only discovered it when she asked Melissa if she had gotten one, and Melissa showed her the card. That was when the realization hit my mom that she and my dad were not invited at all. And that was when the phone calls began. In the span of just 24 hours, she called me 5 times, leaving voicemails full of tears, begging, and desperation. She said things like, "We were just trying to protect Emily's day. Please don't punish the whole family." But in my heart, I could not stop thinking, wasn't I already punished first? I listened to the last voicemail sitting alone in my living room. My mom's voice was shaking as she said, "You're my only son. Please don't do this to me. We were only trying to make things easier for Emily. You know how fragile she is." Hearing that word again, fragile, made something inside me snap. Fragile has been the excuse my parents used my whole life to let Emily avoid consequences. Fragile when she lied. Fragile when she hurt someone. Fragile when she made mistakes. And once again, that same excuse was being used to push me aside. At that point, I knew I needed perspective. I called my Aunt Melissa because she has always been the one to tell me the truth instead of justifying Emily's behavior. I asked her straight out if my mom seemed surprised about the invitation situation. Melissa let out a long sigh and said, "Luke." She was furious. She asked me why you would send me an invitation and not her. I told her maybe it was because you did not invite him to Emily's party. She said my mom did not like that answer at all. Melissa then gave me the best advice I had heard in weeks. She said, "Your mom is going to try to make this about her. Don't let her." Those words stayed in my head. Later that night, I finally sent a simple text to my mom. I wrote, "You excluded me first. This is the consequence." She never replied. Instead, just after midnight, my phone lit up with a call from Emily herself. I almost did not answer, but curiosity got the best of me. When I picked up, her voice was sharp, full of anger but not a drop of sadness. She immediately asked, "Are you really not inviting Mom and Dad to your wedding? Are you serious?" I took a deep breath and replied, "Yes, I am serious. They decided I was not welcome at your engagement party. So why would I welcome them at the most important day of my life?" There was a long silence, and then she scoffed, almost laughing, as she said, "Oh my God, you're still hung up on that? It was one party. Mom didn't want you there because you always make things about yourself." Hearing that cut deep, not because it was true, but because she said it so casually, like it was a fact everyone accepted. I asked her calmly, "Emily, tell me one time I ever ruined anything for you." She fell silent for a moment, then quickly changed the subject. "This isn't about me. This is about Mom and Dad. They're devastated. Do you really want to embarrass them like this? Do you want them to have to explain to people why their own son won't let them come to his wedding?" I almost laughed at the hypocrisy, but instead I asked her, "Why do you even care? You've never supported me. You don't even like Tara. Why do you want them there so badly?" That was when she accidentally let the truth slip. She snapped, "Because if they don't go, people are going to talk. They'll say our family is broken, and I don't need that hanging over my wedding next year." And right there, her real reason was exposed. She did not care about me, about our parents, or about making peace. She only cared about how she looked in front of others. That was when I finally said what I had been holding back for years. "Emily, you've always been protected. Every time you messed up, Mom and Dad covered for you. But this time you all cut me out, and now you have to live with the fallout. That is not my problem." She hissed back, "You're so dramatic. You think people care that much about you? They don't. No one does. That's why you weren't invited." For a second, I could not even breathe. Her words felt like a punch to my chest. After a long pause, I finally said, "Then you won't care if you're not invited to my wedding either." And with that, I hung up. I sat alone for a long time after that call, staring at my phone, my hands shaking. But strangely, I did not feel weak. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had stopped playing their game. The week after Emily's midnight call, I received something that surprised me. It was an email from my dad. Not a phone call, not a text, but an email. The subject line read, "Talk to me, son." For a moment I thought about deleting it without opening, because I was tired of the games, tired of the tears, tired of the guilt they always threw at me. But my curiosity got the best of me, and I opened it. The message was short. He wrote, "Luke, I know things have gotten out of hand. I want to talk. Not your mother, not Emily, just you and me. Dinner this week. My treat." I showed the email to Tara that evening. She looked at it and shook her head slowly. "This feels like damage control," she said. "He's not reaching out to heal anything. He's reaching out because he's afraid of how people see him now." And I knew she might be right. But I also knew that I needed closure. I needed to look him in the eye and see if there was any remorse left in him at all. So I replied and agreed. We met at a small steakhouse halfway between our homes. When I walked inside, he was already sitting there, a glass of whiskey in his hand, looking older and smaller than I remembered. He stood up when he saw me and said my name softly, "Luke." I nodded and sat across from him. The silence between us was heavy, almost suffocating. We ordered food, but neither of us cared about the menu. Finally, he cleared his throat and began to speak. "I didn't know your mother was going to tell you not to come to Emily's party," he said slowly. "I told her it was a bad idea, but she and your sister were adamant. I went along with it, and I shouldn't have." I leaned back in my chair, my heart beating hard. "So you knew it was wrong, but you still let it happen?" I asked. He looked down at his drink and whispered, "Yes." That one word cut me deeper than any of my sister's insults or my mother's excuses. Because my dad had always been quiet, always in the background. But deep down I had hoped he would be the one to stand up for me. And hearing him admit that he chose silence shattered that hope once and for all. "Do you know what that felt like?" I asked, my voice shaking. To wake up and realize every single member of my family was at an event I was not even told about? To have my own mother look me in the eye and say I was not wanted? "Do you know what that does to a person?" He flinched but did not interrupt. I went on. "All my life, I have been treated like the extra, the one who has to shrink so Emily can shine. And you let it happen. Every single time, you let it happen." Finally, he looked up at me. His eyes were tired, his shoulders slumped. "Luke, I don't know how to undo the past. But I don't want to lose you over this. Please invite us. Let us be at your wedding. We'll sit in the back. We won't say a word. Just don't shut us out completely." I stared at him, searching his face for something real, remorse, accountability, even a hint of honesty. But all I saw was fear. Fear of what people would say if their son excluded them. Fear of looking like bad parents in front of their friends. I realized that he was not asking because he missed me or loved me. He was asking because of appearances. So I said quietly, "Dad, this isn't about a seat at a wedding. This is about years of being treated like I don't matter. You had so many chances to stand up for me, and you never did. So no, you don't get to show up now and play the role of father of the groom. That honor belongs to the people who actually showed up for me." For a moment, his face fell, and I thought he might argue. But instead he just nodded slowly and looked back down at his plate. We finished the meal in silence, and then we went our separate ways. No yelling, no big explosion, just quiet. When I got home, Tara was waiting for me. She looked into my eyes and asked, "Well," I told her the truth. That my dad wanted forgiveness but not change. That he wanted access to my life without taking responsibility for how he had hurt me. And that I was done giving that kind of forgiveness. 3 weeks later, Tara and I stood together at our wedding. The venue was beautiful. The guests were full of love, and for the first time in my life, I felt surrounded only by people who truly wanted to see me happy. My Aunt Melissa sat in the front row with tears in her eyes. Tara's father walked her down the aisle with pride. My best friend stood beside me as my best man. And the empty seats where my parents would have been did not haunt me. They freed me. For once, I was not the jealous one. I was not the problem. I was simply a man starting a new life with the woman I loved, surrounded by a family I chose. It has now been 6 months since that day. In all that time, I have not spoken to my parents or to Emily. They did not show up. They did not send a gift. They did not even send a card. And honestly, I do not think they ever will. For the first few weeks, I waited for the explosion, angry emails, dramatic voicemails, maybe even a letter filled with guilt. But instead, there was nothing, just silence. And strangely, that silence told me everything I needed to know. I used to believe that family was something you clung to no matter what. That blood was thicker than water. But standing at that altar with Tara's hand in mine, surrounded by people who had proven their love through actions, I finally realized something important. Blood means nothing without respect. Family is not about DNA. Family is about who shows up. The ironic part is that my parents' silence did not even protect their reputation like they hoped. Word spread anyway. Guests at my wedding noticed they were absent. People whispered. Some even asked my Aunt Melissa directly, and she did not sugarcoat it. She told them the truth. And now my parents' perfect image of a happy, united family is cracked wide open. Old friends have pulled away. Even at Emily's engagement photo post, people commented asking why I was not in the pictures, and why our parents were not at my wedding. For someone like Emily, who built her whole identity on appearances, that is the one punishment she never expected. As for me, I am free. My Aunt Melissa has become like a second mother. She checks on me every week. She brings food. She even gave Tara a piece of jewelry to wear as something borrowed. My dad's silence still hurts, but the warmth and support from Melissa has filled that gap more than I could have hoped. Emily is still Emily. She still posts pictures for attention. She still pretends to be the star of the family. But now, when I scroll past her photos without reacting, it does not sting anymore, because she is no longer my problem. And Tara and I, we are building something better. We are looking for a house, talking about having children, and creating a life where love and respect will be given freely. I know one thing for sure. My children will never have to earn my love. They will never have to compete with a sibling for my attention. They will never wonder if they are good enough. Because if this experience has taught me anything, it is this. I may have lost the family I was born into, but I have gained the freedom to create the family I truly deserve. And honestly, that is the happiest ending I could have asked for.